I make over $20,000 every single month as a day trader, and to get there, I used one insanely powerful trading strategy. In this video, I will show you my entire custom strategy from start to finish, so that way you can get to the exact point where I'm at and make at least $10,000 per month as a day trader. The strategy is this really confusing tool right here, known as the Fibonacci retracement tool. By the end of this video, you will have a full understanding of how this entire thing works. You're gonna have my custom setup for this and my strategy that I've used for the last 3 years. So to give you an understanding of what the Fibonacci retracement is, when we are in trend, we can't go up forever, right? So what you've seen is lots of pullbacks. Well, these pullbacks are typically gonna come down to a very specific point. It's not like every single pullback that you see is just random and comes down a little bit. It's gonna come down to very, very specific points because this is how the market works. It's mathematically designed to come back to certain areas. So for example, we will see these pullbacks that are very strategically coming to certain areas, and this is where we will capitalize on these trades. So that's how you use the Fibonacci overall, right? We're going to be looking for certain areas where we are in trend to come back and then continue trend. So we know exactly where we're most likely to come back to. And the strategy that I'm going to show you in this video is about a 90% win rate strategy. It is so stupidly accurate, so I need you to just pay attention. But before we get to the strategy, I have to give you my custom setup because I don't use this really confusing tool with all these, hundreds of numbers on it. Instead, what I do is I double click on the Fibonacci and let's set up the custom SOA levels. So what we're going to do is we're going to disable all of these numbers right here, 2.618, 4, this one, and 0.236. It's going to leave you with 382, 618, and 0.5. What I like to do is I like to change this 382 to 0.65. And so that will give you a 6.5 and a 618. Now what I'll do is I'll change these two right here to yellow, and we're gonna leave this as green. Now, what you can do is come down to the background, turn off the background, and you'll have a really solid line that looks like this. This is a lot less confusing to pay attention to, right? Very, very simple. So what we're gonna call this area right here is the golden pocket or the golden zone. This right here is the area that we are most likely to return to every single time we have a retracement. We have these two areas, but the reason why I have this 0.5 as well is because this is also a very important area to where we're most likely to return to. So for example, if we're coming up here on a trend, we are most likely to return to one of those two areas. So if we're in a trend, you can draw out your Fibonacci, and we're either going to most likely retrace here to continue to the upside, or we're going to retrace here to continue to the upside. So those are the two things that can most likely happen. I'm going to show you the trading strategy that I've used to actually pinpoint exactly where you're going to reverse on literally every single given scenario. So this is going to be super, super easy for you. So the first thing we need to do to use this tool is identify a range. So a range is going to have a top and a bottom in the middle of a move. So as you can see, this is a really, really large move here from 528.96 all the way up to 533.41. We see this huge move here, and we've established a top and bottom of this range. So what we can do is we can use our Fibonacci to draw from one side of the range to the other. That way we know where we're most likely to retrace to whenever we come back into that trend. So as you can see, we grab our Fibonacci retracement tool. We always go from left to right. I'm going to show you this on like 2 more examples as well. That way you get a full understanding. But as you can see, left to right. So bottom to the top of the range, left to right. And as you can see, the moment that we come back, don't worry, I'm going to show you the setup in a little bit as well. As you can see, we come back, we come straight to this 50% and we retrace straight off of it. There's a lot of different examples of this, and I'm going to show you a couple more. That way we can get a good understanding as well. All right. So once again, as you can see, we have this top and this bottom down here. So as you can see, we have a full range. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the Fibonacci retracement tool, and we're going to go from the bottom wick to the top of this range. And as you can see, once we do that, we have a retracement down to the 50%, and that's when we continue off to continue the range. Now, this is a terrible price action, and I'm going to show you exactly how to avoid this later in this video, but that is exactly how you set this tool up. And the last example of the Fibonacci retracement is right here, where we will grab from the top to the bottom of the range. As you can see, always from left to right, left to right, and we have our exact spot. We know exactly where we're most likely to retrace and continue to the downside. So that is exactly how you're going to use this tool, but we need to have an understanding of exactly how to enter positions using this strategy. So the first setup and the easiest way to enter on the Fibonacci is going to be on a bounce. So as you can see, we come down here to this 50% and we bounce off to the upside. Now, what needs to happen is we need to see something like this right here, where we have ourselves relatively equal lows. That is the first sign that we're most most likely going to bounce at that Fibonacci area. And so what needs to happen then is we need to see some strong momentum to reclaim the Fibonacci after we touch that 50%. As soon as we see that happen, as you can see, this gets brought all the way back up. As soon as that happens, if we are to break highs on that next candle, we would enter to the upside. So as you can see right here, we end up breaking those highs to continue up to the upside. We would set our stop losses below the 50% here, and we can then set our target to highs. And this position right here is a very, very green one. So here is a chart on Apple that we will do a full detailed back test on. So currently Apple is sitting at 201. We have this massive range that was created. We have our top and our bottom right here. As always, we're going to grab our Fibonacci tool and we're going to drag from the left to the right. That will create this huge Fibonacci retracement area right here. We have our 61.8, which is called your golden pocket or your golden zone, and we have our 50%. So the first thing we need to do is we need to watch for this 50% area, right? This could be the first area where we have a big retracement or we have a reversal at. When the next candle comes up, we need to see what happens at this area. So as you can see, we have ourselves a pretty decent looking rejection here. Large candle wick. This represents, if you've seen a lot of my other videos, you will know, this represents a lot of selling pressure, right? This selling pressure indicates that we're probably going to push to the downside. But of course, we don't want to just enter that right away. We need to make sure that we have some sort of confirmation, pretty large guarantee that we're going to push to that side. So what that guarantee would be for me is going to be if we break lows after rejecting this area. So the next candle that comes through, it still has the opportunity to fly above this wick, right? It does. It can open up here and it can go straight up over the 61.8%. It has that opportunity. However, what we need to do is we need to pay attention to what the price is going to do. And if it breaks that low, then we can set our stop losses above this 50% or above the wick, depending on what your risk is. So you can set it above the 50% and you can set your target down to the lows or down to wicks. Wherever you want to place your target, that's on you, of course. For me, I don't usually have super heavy targets placed. Like I'll have a general target. For example, I'll go to lows, for example, so somewhere around here. And then if the position continues to run, it continues to run. I don't like to cap myself on the upside. As you can see here, our next candle that comes out, so it ends up rejecting straight from this 50% the way that we thought it was going to, and then it ends up breaking that previous low, which gives us a lot of an understanding that we're probably going to continue to the downside. The moment that you break that low, that's your confirmation. You don't want to enter for no reason. You want to make sure that you have a guaranteed low break first, as long as you're trading to the downside. So as you can see here, we end up coming all the way down and hitting our target on this candle. A beautiful, beautiful, perfect trade off of just a rejection of that 50%. That is the first setup that we can use, and I'll give you guys another example on that later, don't worry. The second and the easiest, in my opinion, is going to be a break and retest of the Fibonacci. This is my bread and butter. I've used this strategy a million different times. I'll actually show you some positions that I've taken for my mentorship students. It is strictly based on the Fibonacci. So stupidly simple. What ends up happening is we break through this Fibonacci here, and we're always going to come back up to retest that Fibonacci to then continue down. So as you can see here, we do just that. We break this Fibonacci, and now we're looking to see if there's a continuation, right? But there's not always going to be a continuation. So we need to make sure we have a retest of the level first. Once we get a retest of the level, what we want to look for is a break of lows to get an entry. So here you can see we don't break any lows on this candle. This next candle doesn't come and break any lows. This next candle breaks this low, and we can set our stop loss above the 61.8%. And this position just flies. As you can see here, there is just nothing stopping this position, and this one ends up being an absolute banger. So this position here that I took on QQQ was actually taken for my mentorship students all live, over 129% on QQQ puts. Now we took it based on this exact strategy right here, which is the break and retest of the Fibonacci golden pocket. So as you can see here, we've got ourselves our golden pocket, and we know specifically what is going to happen once we get to this area. We're either going to bounce or we're going to break through and retest to continue. What I end up doing is I wait for the break of the level. You never want to enter right on the break of the level. You always want to wait for the retest. And so this next candle comes up to retest the level as we expect it to do, right? So what am I looking for? Remember on the past example as well, what I told you guys was you need to wait for a break in lows for confirmation for us to actually continue to the other side. So as you can see here, we end up coming through, retesting the level, failing this golden pocket level, coming down and starting a new continuation. We did not come through to break these lows though. So what we need to do is wait for these lows to break. Once we get a break of these lows, that can give us an entry in a position. My stop loss always goes on the other side of the level. No matter where the level is, my stop loss is gonna go on the other side of it, okay? Once we end up having this position, this ends up being a massive, massive position going over 120% all taken live. There are some scenarios where we end up reversing straight off the 61.8 like this. And so what I typically do from that point is I will wait once we break the 50% and then just take it the exact same way. Once we see a break of lows, I'll take it like this and we'll put my stop loss above the 50%. We can still catch the move even though we missed the 61.8, and we can take it as a continuation off of this golden pocket reversal here. So as you can see, another banger position that literally just keeps going all day. I don't know how much further it goes, but it is a massive, massive position just using just this Fibonacci tool, nothing else. I don't have any other indicators on my chart, any other tools, nothing. So stupidly easy. Here's an example of the Fibonacci retracement tool on higher time frames. So as you can see, we have this huge range here, and we'll use the bottom of that range to the top of the range. We come down here and we look to see if we can continue trend to the upside. We see a large wick right here that shows that we're looking to have a strong continuation to the upside. The moment that we break highs, we can set our stop loss to be on the other side of that 50%. And of course, our target is most likely, we honestly don't even like to have targets. That's usually what I teach my students is I don't like targets. Instead, what I like to do is hold until trend is shifted to the other direction, which would be somewhere around this area where we end up shifting trend. This position could be an absolutely massive one. Now, if you want more live examples, because I also have live trades that I've taken with the Fibonacci golden pocket, if you want those, comment down below saying that you want live trading. I will get you those videos if you want them. That is exactly how this strategy works. It is so simple. And of course, if you feel like you're stuck or you feel like you need that next level of help because you're right there and you want to be profitable, you want to change your life, you want to make $20,000 plus per month. I've helped over 400 students do that. I've taken them one-on-one. Here's all the student results that you're seeing on the screen right now. These guys have crushed it. So if you want to do the same, go down, first link in the description, apply to join SOA. It has changed a lot of people's lives. So I hope it'll change yours too. With that being said, easiest strategy in the world. Go watch all the rest of my videos. Binge watch me like I'm Netflix. I'll see you guys later. Adios, everybody. Goodbye. Later.